health agent is hired after weeks without anyone on the job. Just ahead, we look at what's on her agenda and why one member of the Board of Selectmen wants to make the health agent a full-time position. With the potential of more snow on the way, the ELPD issues a warning to drivers to slow down as the number of car accidents in town skyrockets. And the winter sports season wraps up with the final few games at ELHS. We have the highlights just ahead on ELCAT News Update. Good evening, I'm Rebecca Green. We begin tonight with the hiring of a new health agent. The last agent quit January 29th. The new agent began just last week. Board of Selectmen Billy Gorman says Lois Lunawitz has a work cut out for her. He says there's a backlog of inspections that are critically important in keeping local establishments safe.
She works 2 days in a row, and she's staying up here if she gets a place to sleep. And she works 9-hour days for me, which kind of worked out a little bit better because after 8 o'clock, after 8 hours, when people are going home, that extra hour she goes out to businesses that I have habitual problems with, and she does a surprise visit, which I found out they were back to their old habits. So now they don't know when she's coming, so it's helping me out to try to get them on the right track, some of the eating establishments.
Gorman says there are, of course, establishments in town that are absolutely up to code. But he says the town has gone through 4 agents in 8 months, and the work is stacking up. While he's confident Lunawitz will get the job done, he's pushing to make the part-time agent position full-time in order to retain qualified people and to keep up with the work.
To make it a full-time position so we can do the inspections we're supposed to be doing on pools, on eating establishments. We have high grass issues, we have hoarders. I mean, the list just goes on, what we're supposed to be doing. And, a lot of these places know we're not inspecting when we're supposed to, so they get away with what they can get away with. Like your kid, if you're not out there checking on him, he'll do what he can do, and get away with it until you're there again, But I think most of the town people understand that for the sake of the kids in town and the people, we definitely need one. And as far as the selectmen, I think I have one with me and one that's still a little wish-washy and stuff. But one way or another, we got to get one in here. That's probably the #1 priority at the town meeting.
Gorman is hoping to get the issue on a warrant article for the upcoming Maytown meeting. Forecasters say more snow may be coming up later this week. East Longmeadow Police Department says thanks to all the snowstorms this winter, the number of car accidents in town is up dramatically. Sergeant Pat Manley says in just one afternoon during last week's snowstorm, officers responded to 6 accidents in a span of 2 hours.
We've been getting quite a few accidents lately in town, and a lot of it has to do with the size of the snowbanks. Please be extremely careful.
Sergeant Manley says speed also has a lot to do with winter crashes. He urges drivers to take it slow and not to be lulled into a sense of security if you have 4-wheel drive.
A lot of people get 4-wheel drive or front-wheel drive vehicles, which gives you a lot more ability to go. There's plenty more go in your car now than there used to be. Rear-wheel drive cars are very difficult in the snow, and it actually kept you going slower and prevented you from getting in an accident. Now with the 4-wheel drive cars, you can go like the dickens. You can really get going, but your braking isn't going to stop you. There's no more stop in the car. There's a lot more go, but there's no more stop. Your brakes are the same as they were before, only now they're on ice and snow.
Finally, Manley says drivers must make sure their cars are free of snow and ice before hitting the road.
The legislature recently passed a law addressing people who leave big clumps of snow or sheets of ice on their car, and they're driving down the highway and the air gets underneath and lifts it and sends projectiles at other motorists or blinds another motorist coming in. It can cause an accident. So yes, you have to keep your car maintained and clean, and there are fines for that, and mostly on the highway you'll find the troopers enforcing that. Around town, you're going to probably get stopped by the local guys. We're probably going to give you hell about, clean it up because you don't want to get in an accident for for your protection and for everybody else's protection from you.
The good news is there's just over 3.5 weeks to go until the official start of spring. The East Longmeadow Recreation Department is already thinking of spring. Spring sports registration is well underway. In fact, some deadlines have already come and gone.
The second we hand out basketballs and wrestling equipment, we are flying right into the spring season. We're already registering our teams for the spring and kind of rolling and moving on that.
EL Rec Director Colin Drury says space is limited in several sports, thanks to the sheer number of kids who sign up. He says many athletes in town these days play more than just one sport.
So you might have a young little guy out there that's playing lacrosse and baseball in the spring. In the fall, he might be doing football and soccer. So it's kind of, today's kids are very active and multiple sport athletes during each season. So that's why our numbers continue to go up, whereas even though our school population stays pretty stable, we continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
For more information, stop in at the rec department in person, or registration is also taken online through the town website. A reminder for parents and caregivers about a special event this upcoming Wednesday. Birchland Park Middle School will host an event educators and police say should not be missed. It's a drug awareness event called How to Keep Our Children Safe, Together We Stand. East Longmeadow Police Chief Doug Mellis says the drug issue in town is a very real one. He says there have been close to a dozen overdoses recently and at least 8 deaths. He says cheap and accessible opiates are to blame.
The price of heroin has dropped dramatically. I do not have a street value for it, but it is cheaper, and in some cases it's more potent than they've seen in years before. So someone that may have been off heroin for a while or has been incarcerated, they get out of jail and they stumble and get involved in this drug use again. If it was taking them 6 bags to get their high, they might only need 3 to be there, and they're not aware of it, and thus they overdose or die. There's been some cases of heroin being laced with other drugs, which is causing deaths. I know the city of Worcester experienced about a dozen deaths in a period of 2 weekends. Statewide, the numbers were very high in December. They've kind of leveled off so far in January.
Chief Mellis says a little information now can go a long way in saving a life or the life of a loved one.
Like I said, it's a lifelong issue that we have to address, and the more people involved, hopefully the message has gotten out and we can save those that from going down that path in life.
The police department has teamed up with EL schools and other officials to make Wednesday's event happen.
We've united with the schools, the school nurses, the counselors. Gordon Smith has been a great advocate, along with the school committee. It's not something that anyone's sticking their head in the sand and saying, there's nothing to see here, move on. No, we're all set. We don't have that problem. A lot of this is an awareness to let you know that it's there.
Once again, the awareness night, How to Keep Our Children Safe, will take place at Birchland Park Middle School, Wednesday, February 25th at 6 p.m. Childcare will be available. Now in sports, we have 2 monumental senior nights with girls basketball and men's hockey. Hockey had an outstanding win against Ludlow. Fans had no idea how this game would turn out after the constant back-and-forth plays. Ludlow took the lead at the beginning of the game. At the end of the second quarter, East Longmeadow was able to fight back and tie the game at 1-1. The third and final quarter is what caused East Longmeadow fans to jump out of their seats, as our very own Nick Corbin acquired his second hat trick of the season. The final score at 5-1. The seniors, Brian Blair, Jim Bates, Nick Brendo, Matt Gasparini, Eric Pemperlardo, and Peter Trace have contributed great success to their season. Family and friends acknowledged their seniors' dedication with a moment of silence. The team ended with an overall record of 8-12. Girls basketball had an incredible triumph against Agawam for their senior night. The Spartans' offense was untouchable as the team fed the ball into Meg Lindsay's hands. Lindsay put up an impressive 14 points that landed the team to the 43-36 win. The girls could not have been more thrilled to end senior night with a victory. Seniors Sophia Capua, Julia Decker, and Meg Lindsay were called out to the center of the court before the game as this energy hyped them up for the win. Mary Bates, also a senior, was recognized during a game last week. Well, that will do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching ELCAT News Update. I'm Rebecca Green. Until next time, good night.